Oh, Billie Jean, back my lover. Guys, I'm so excited for this final push, for this final sprint, because I really want that Champions League. I miss it. We deserve to be back in it. Us fans deserve to be back in it. And look, we can be in it, but we can also not be in it and remain like this at the end of the season, hoping for that apple to fall, but that apple won't fall from the tree. Does it depend on us? Well, certainly, as I've said, we need to do our job. We need to win every single game. And number two, you need to hope that somebody crumbles, which I don't think is impossible at all. We'll speak about that again. We'll analyze. I'll give a little analysis on both the Milan and the Juventus game, because those are the two games that we will be following very closely after hours on Sunday at 6 p.m. But I want to know, what do people think? What are your impressions? You're I don't know, 3 more game weeks, right? 3 game weeks to go until the end of the season. What are your feelings? Are we going to get it, or are we not going to get it? I just want a little yes or no in the live chat. We're going to get back analysing this game, which I would open a debate that this is the hardest game that we have left. And people will say, no, you've got the derby, and I agree. But there are elements of this game which for me are more complicated than the derby, if that makes sense. And it's the way Parma plays, and we will look at that in a second. We'll speak about them, and yeah, look, we gotta win. Imagine if we don't win and everything gets just chucked out of the window on Sunday evening. Well, typical Roma, isn't it? But yeah, hit the like, subscribe, leave your comments. I'll go through them at the end. And yeah, look, leave a little interaction in the comments, little hype button, subscribe, do all of that good stuff if you haven't already. And let's start this match preview. Let's start with them. I don't like the way they play. I really don't. And the way they play terrifies me in a way. I am terrified by Carlos Cuesta. He is a Mikel Arteta student, right? Now, we all have followed Arsenal this season. First of all, I can't stand Arteta. I really can't. I hope PSG win that final. I really do. I've got nothing against Arsenal. I really don't. I know Calafiori plays there. I was reading a comment from one of you guys who also follows Arsenal. After I said I can't stand Arsenal, you got mad. I've got nothing against Arsenal, but what makes me despise Arsenal is their manager. And Cuesta, a few years ago, was Arteta's vice. And he learned a lot from Arteta, because Arsenal play embarrassing football, which is effective. I've got nothing against it, but it's not good football to watch. Again, I've got nothing against it. I will always repeat it. I'm a Mourinho lover, so for me the result is more important than the performance. Very clear. But Arsenal don't play good football, right? They don't. That's a fact. Just like we didn't with Jose. That's also a fact. Well, Cuesta is a scholar of Arteta, and he plays in the exact same way, in a sense that very solid defense and very good on set pieces. A team that doesn't massively rely on goals, but massively relies on a defensive organization, which is very solid, and they are very good. They park the bus in a way that, look, realistically, and at the end of the day, it's what made them save themselves. It's what didn't cost them relegation, because if we're speaking about offensive threats, Parma are one of the worst teams in the league, absolutely worst teams in the league. But unlike your Pisas, your Cremoneses, your Lecces, they've got a solid defense, and that is what they've based results on, right? Very solid defensive organization. And I feel like we struggle the most against these teams. Whenever we need to crack and unlock and unleash all of our powers against the low block, we struggle. So I think that there are elements of this game which make it the most complicated out of the 3 that we have left. They know how to just lock themselves up. They've grabbed some solid points against big teams this season. I look at their win a few months ago at San Siro against Milan. Even in the last game week where Inter won the league and they played against Parma, Inter won 2-0, but it took them a good 50 minutes to crack up that crack up maybe isn't the good isn't the best of terms, but to crack their defense open. It took them a good 50 minutes, and that's Inter who won the league. So, you get my point. I think we struggle the most against these teams. But look, we are playing against a team that has nothing more to ask from this season. They are safe. Applauses to them. I think at the start of the season, not many people were betting on them to stay up. Their best player for me is Pellegrino, who ironically, after all that I said, is their striker. But yeah, I can't see us bottle it, and I won't. I will not say that we're gonna bottle it. I stick with what I've said 2 weeks ago. I think we're gonna finish on a high. My point is, I think if we don't get Champions League football, it won't be because of us. I've got this feeling where ultimately, if you treat it on a big base, it will be because of us, because we didn't play good big games this season, and 1 point in one big game would have probably costed us Champions League, would have brought us in the Champions League. But if we're basing it on last few game weeks, I think if we won't get Champions League football, it won't be because of ourselves. It will be because Juventus and Milan will also do their job. Which then brings us to that discussion. Do I see Juve or Milan drop points? I do. But I'm scared they won't. That's my answer to this question. I take tomorrow's game between Lecce and Juve, right? I can picture a game where before that game starts, I'm like, Lecce can really do this. I see Lecce get something from that game. I really, really do. They need points because they are in a relegation fight. If they get something out of that game, they are probably safe. But then I can also see then when the game starts, a situation where Juve just win 2-0 confidently because their dominance will prevail. And yes, as we've said, motivation is important in football, but quality is also important in football, and their quality will prevail. So I'm like, I can see it happen, but I wouldn't bet my money on it. That's the way I describe tomorrow's game between Lecce and Juventus. The game between Milan and Atalanta is, for me, a very hard game to predict. Because I think it's between two teams that have completely zoned out. Milan, I think, at time of speaking, are one of the worst teams in the league. And I think they're running out of luck. They can't just survive on luck, as I've said many times. But at the same time, they're playing against a team that probably is zoned out even more than them after they got not destroyed, but they got eliminated from the Coppa Italia. Atalanta really don't have anything more to ask because they probably can't get more than that position, and they probably can't fall beneath it. So I don't know. I definitely can see Milan slip up. Absolutely, I can. But it's a very hard game to predict because it's between two teams that have completely switched the light off. And those games are always the hardest to predict. You never know if it's a game full of goals or a game with no goals because you just don't know how teams are going to interpret their games. But look, I stick with what I said. We need to do our job. We can speak about them. We can do calculations. But at the end of the day, you need to do your job. And as I've said before, your job might not be enough. And I agree. But the first base here is you have to do your job. Then again, it cannot be enough. It can't not be enough. But it can not be enough. But you have to do your job first. The Juve's game against Torino is going to be really, really interesting. I think if there's one game where Juve drop points, it's this one. I know it's a derby, but I don't think I was alive the last time Torino won a derby. It's always like, oh yeah, it's a derby, and then Juve always beat them. So realistically speaking, I am with the idea that if Juve don't drop points tomorrow night, I think they're going to go full points. And in that case, it's more probable that Milan drop more points than Juventus. Again, Juve dropped points against Verona, so I'm not saying that they're guaranteed going to win against Torino, but if there's one game where I see Juve slip up, it's tomorrow. Because Torino, it'll be the last game week of the season. They always win against them. And I know it's a derby, but Torino have zoned out and will be zoned out. So I don't know, but look, we have to win on Sunday, and I don't expect the same performance as Monday against Fiorentina. No, because Parma are solid defensively. So I don't expect many goals. I think if we win it, we scrape it. I think it'll be a 1-0, 2-0, 2-1 win. I'm going with a win. I'm confident. I want to back the boys. I want that Champions League. I really want that Champions League. Yeah. It'll be a great final. PSG against Arsenal will be a great final. But I want PSG to win it. You see, the thing with PSG is that I used to hate them, but I don't know why, but I love them now. I like that team so much. Luis Enrique, I absolutely love, but it's the team that he's just built that is so good to watch. And it's made of players that, like, 3 years ago, you honestly would not have put in a dime on them to become this team. But Luis Enrique is incredible, absolutely incredible. Only this club could have given up on Luis Enrique after 1 year. Only us, honestly, only us. What else? Predicted 11. I see Dybala start this game. I don't see Mati start this game because I think Sule lately, you can tell that he's still not fit, and lately he hasn't given that spark. Pizzilli has, so I'm putting Pizzilli next to Paolo behind Malen, and then the ordinary formation. Oh, I just realized something, which maybe if I had the power to change that graphic with my mind, I would change. I actually don't think Mancini is going to start this game. I think Ghilardi, Ndika and Hermoso will, because Mancini, if he gets a yellow card, he misses the derby. And he always performs in derbies because he feels them. So I would not put Mancini in it. Because if he gets a yellow card on Sunday, he misses the derby. So I think we're going to go Ghilardi, Ndika and Hermoso. But then ordinary. So Celik, I'm throwing burps after burps. Wesley, Kone, Cristante. It'll be that. It will be that. Yeah, I think I've said everything. Yeah. You going to the tennis, Simo? I am. I'm going on Monday night. Yes. I don't know who I'll see. That's the issue with tennis tickets. You don't know who you're gonna watch. But according to my calculations, it probably will be Yannick, because he plays tomorrow. So then they have a day of rest, and then they play again. But yeah, I'm very excited. Even though I must say, as an Italian, it is becoming extremely boring because he's just unplayable. That's the issue with tennis right now. You know, I love tennis. I play tennis and watch it constantly, but it's especially now that Alcaraz is injured, it's boring because there is nobody who can beat Sinner. So there's nobody who can even strip a set from him. So games don't last more than 40 minutes. But when he's on, again, they're discussing whether to change the time of the derby next Sunday or whether to postpone that derby to Monday or Wednesday of the following week because it clashes with the men's final on the tennis. And if you've never been to the tennis, it's in the same like park as the Stadio Olimpico. So for like safety reasons, they want to like there is the possibility that they postpone that derby to like either Monday or Wednesday, or play it at 12:30 because it clashes with the men's final on Sunday afternoon. But I'm like, I can guarantee you that you're providing all of this chaos for nothing. Because I can guarantee you that whatever that final will be, it will have Yannick Sinner in it, and I can guarantee you that it will not last more than 40 minutes. So you are going to postpone everything, which effectively falsifies the league, because the last 2 game weeks, everyone needs to play at the same time, especially the teams that need to fight for the same objectives, for something that will last 40 minutes. 40 minutes. It will not last more than 40 minutes. And that's the issue. He is unplayable. So tennis, unfortunately, is becoming boring. I think we'll win every game, to be honest, because almost all our players are back. I think the derby will be tough, I think, but hopefully we win. I don't want to look at the derby. We'll look at the derby next week. Can you do your Vincent Kompany impression again? No, because my mom will call the police this time around if I do it again. The referee lineup for this game should be illegal. Yeah, I mean the referees are always a problem. I fucking hate PSG fans in the city. I like the team a lot. PSG fans I like PSG. I've come to love PSG. And the problem with PSG was Mbappe, which is now the problem of Real Madrid. And I'll tell you one thing. Jose, my man, save that football club. You deserve the best, my love. Go and prove everyone wrong, because Jose Mourinho is exactly what Real Madrid need right now. And I will add a statement. Real Madrid will win the Champions League next season if Jose is there. He is exactly what they need. Exactly what they need. Because that team needs discipline. And the second they inject discipline back in that team, and only that man can do it, that team becomes unplayable. I'm telling you. I'm signing my statement. Prove them wrong, Jose. Go on. Go there and save Madrid. Even though I hate Madrid. I hate Madrid. The issue with me is that I hate big teams. I hate teams that can do whatever they want. I just don't like them. Because imagine being a Real Madrid fan. Like, what is the excitement of that? I'm much more local neighborhood football. Support the team of your city. You can be from Madrid, but if you're from Madrid, I'd rather you support Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid, good team. Or support Rayo Vallecano. Or support Getafe, which apparently is like 20 minutes from Madrid. Why would you support Real Madrid? Like, it's boring. Boring. We're much more roller coaster of emotion fans. Eric! Jose would be putting a nuke in that dressing room. I'll be honest, I love him for what he did, but unless he's given power to punish the players. No, I completely disagree. Jose needs that. Jose breathes that. That is the obsession that Mourinho lives for. Sorting out. And look, the issue, the statement that I give is that this guy brought Cilic, Cristante, and company in a Europa League semi-final. In a Europa League final, which that man would have won, because we won that. We just got robbed of it. if you give that man Mbappe, Vini, and company, and inject discipline in that team, he'll win the treble. He will win the treble. And the players need Mourinho. Look, I'm convinced he's going to win the Champions League if he goes there. I'm convinced. Clip this now. Clip this now and keep it for next May. Okay, I'm going to catch you on Sunday with the match reaction. Forza Roma sempre. We need to do a job. Oh my God, if we fuck it up, I'll be mad. And yeah, hit the like and subscribe. Talk to you soon. Simo out.